to the Irish Arsenal Gooner podcast. It's Sunday, the 26th of February. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles. I'm joined by my weekly guests and season contributors. Martin, how are you?
Good evening. Not too bad after a lovely day yesterday.
Sporting the 92-94 away jersey.
So we are.
A young Alex Manninger there. Our Stefan Malls. Our UK-based Gooner, Ozzy. Thanks for joining us again. How are you, pal?
Good evening. All good, mate.
A big shout out to who's your daddy, Ozzy. How is he?
Never shout out to me. Don't you get me getting.
I was looking back on the show from Monday and had a good giggle at that when you brought me in at the end of the show. And the return of the Mac, Eamon Donnelly himself. How are you, pal?
Evening, Jonathan. Doing this on a Sunday night there. I'm just back from evening mass there. I was going to settle down and watch Murphy's Microcosm in Glenroe. But the younger folk, they watch Love Hate these days.
Hey, all right, Elmo. How was your ma? Yeah.
Bit of niche there. No, we're grand. I'm not long back from. I stayed in Birmingham. Went to Leicester yesterday, and the one thing I noticed about Birmingham was that even the lifts speak in Brummie. Going up. The lifts in the Holiday Inn Express coming down. Going up.
At least you didn't stay the ones in West Bromwich, mate. I go boing boing.
Yeah, boing boing.
I'd like to give Eamon's best friend on this over the last few weeks, Ken Barlow, a shout out. How was the Knicker Factory party?
Has he been on again? Has he?
Yeah. I like he left a nice comment there on Monday's show. I think our US friend Brian is still figuring out who the hell is seriously.
What is sucking it, Barlow?
He's on season 3. He's on season 3 of 524.
He says he spends hours looking it up and then couldn't find it.
Anyway, good evening, everybody. How we doing? All right.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's good to have you back on, lads. Of course, you can catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel as always, and on Instagram and other social media outlets as well. Martin adds daily content to our Instagram and Dublin Arsenal website page. So thanks to him as always. Thanks to our sponsor, clubgolf.co.uk. Use DubArsenal10 for a 10% discount. And catch on our matches throughout the season in the official supporters bar in the Dublin City Centre, the River Bar. And it's been rocking over the last few weeks. We had good stats from Monday's show, and a big shout out to Pat McLaughlin from JustArsenal.com. Thanks for mentioning us week in, week out. Our friends are from over there. 2,066 views from Monday's show, 9 likes, and Martin, we're up to 2,850.
We're scratching under 3,000, so which is hopefully we get to there. And also just Arsenal vids are nearly on the 1,000 mark, so that's what we are setting out to do. So hopefully by next week they're gonna make the 1K mark as well, and fair play to them for sharing this link. Otherwise we probably wouldn't get all them views what we're getting at the moment. But yeah, it's all good at the moment. And we even have Indian gooners who following us now. And actually watching the show, they probably don't know who Deirdre is.
I don't know if Eamon wants to put on an accent from Chennai, India.
I'm not going to do that. Frustrating, Deirdre.
I think we should get a clip of that.
Fix that again.
Next step, we gotta go into the short. Actually had more views than the whole of this season's put together. Check out our sister show, Martin's Beyond the Last Man. There'll be a show this week, Martin, will there?
There will be, I was in contact with I think from Just Arsenal, from the women's podcast, and we're gonna get one on Thursday. I know it's going to coincide with the Everton review, but like, yeah, we have to do one because unfortunately they lost today, 2-0 again. But yeah, hopefully like by next week they can turn it around and get a win against Chelsea. It's a tough game today, but yeah, unfortunately didn't happen. But so yeah, we have to do a bit of a show, and that's going to be probably going out on Thursday night. Yeah, Jonathan is speechless about that. All right, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, yeah, but yeah.
That's it over to you, Martin, for now. Fill in.
Yeah, like I'll probably have to fill in, yeah, but it's just gonna just. Can you hear us? Hello, Jonathan.
I can hear you. I can hear you, Johnny.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Johnny.
Now we can hear you. We can't see you, but it's okay.
We'll be reviewing our 1-0 away. We'll be reviewing our 1-0 away success against Leicester yesterday. Going through our March fixture list as well. Chatting about our Sporting Lisbon two-legged affair coming up next month as well, and the last 16 of the Europa League. Clear and golden month for February as well, and of course a preview of the Everton game this Wednesday night, and it's tribute to the late JOHN MOTSON, BBC commentator, that old smoothie he used to call Annie McCoys in the FIFA games. It's a sad passing. There's a show tonight on BBC One at 11:10. The Man Behind the Sheepskin. So that should be a good watch straight after match today. We get to our
great.
Yeah, I know Eamon has a sheepskin out now in the next few minutes. So frustrating, man.
Did you know what? I paid too much for that sheepskin. I was fleeced.
Right, I don't want to throw the pen. On yesterday's 1-0 away success, that was Martinelli got the winning goal, as we all know. That was Mikel Arteta's 200th Premier League goal as Arsenal manager. So that was the stat I only stumbled across there this evening. So that's amazing in less than three and a bit years. Other main talking points was obviously the Trossard disallowed goal for Ben White tugging on Danny Ward's hand, which I thought was a bit. It was a bit being given really as a goal, and that was not really. But then Leicester had a disallowed goal for offside in Nacho. Zinchenko had a good shot as well in the second half. That was well saved by Danny Ward, but I thought Gabriel Martinelli took his goal really well. A good away win leaves us 2 points clear of City. I know Eamon was at the game yesterday. How did you see it from your viewing point, Eamon?
Well, okay. Well, the first thing I'd say is that I admire Leicester and Brendan Rodgers. They normally have a go, and I think it's a kind of a commentary on how far we've come. The way they set up at home against us, you know.
Yeah.
They were afraid. They gave us the entire pitch, and it was amazing to watch how good Jorginho actually was. He absolutely dictated the game in a Cesc Fabregas type of way. Dictated the game. Now I know we had space and all that, but even in tight spaces. But the one thing I saw from Jorginho that you wouldn't see on the TV is how much he cajoles other players into spaces. It was an incredible thing to watch. We've got a real winner there on our hands. So a few weeks ago, there was people in meltdown that we didn't pay 80 million quid for some kid from Brighton who could be brilliant. And we spent 12 million on this guy, you know? Or whatever we spent on him. I think it was 12-ish or whatever.
Yeah, it was 12. Yeah.
But I tell you what, that was a serious signing, right?
Yeah.
I think we don't. I think Jorginho, as I said, he really looks like an Arsenal player. He really does, you know. The Trossard goal, oh my God! I've got to the stage now where I'm afraid to celebrate a goal because the celebrations in a very boisterous and friendly, boisterous away end. The celebrations were right up there, you know, and then all of a sudden you get this check. Now, technically, Ben White fouled Ward. But if you're going to blow that, there'll never be a corner kick. There'll never be a free kick. Anything that comes into the box, there's a foul everywhere. A tug on a short, a push on a player. So you can take a lottery, heads or harps, or as they say in your area, Carl, heads or tails, right? Heads or harps, right? So, you know, heads or harps. It's a free out. I'm sick of it. Now, who's to blame for that? I don't think the referee was to blame for so much, because once he's called over, it's almost as if a referee is called over to look at a VAR screen, we all know the result. So what's the point? You know?
Yeah.
He had a look at it, then he said there was holding, blah, blah, blah. It's getting like American football, it's flagged down. I think the VAR are responsible for that. I think the Saka penalty incident apparently wasn't reviewed. It was a clear penalty.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely clear penalty. So VAR is in an absolute mess at the moment. It is an absolute mess. And if Martinelli hadn't scored that goal and we were getting another apology 3 weeks later, it would have been an absolute disaster, right?
Yeah.
Thankfully, Martinelli did score a goal, and it was the result of a very brave decision by Arteta to play interchange. The interchange between Martinelli and Trossard was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And the goal came from that, where Trossard went out to the left. Beautiful ball in, great finish by Martinelli. I think Gabriel and Saliba, although Leicester didn't put on much pressure, they were right on top of their game, because we were kind of on the front foot the whole time. And I'm delighted that they had a shovel match at the end of the game, because that speaks to me. That'd be like Adams and Bold.
Yeah.
You know, that spoke to me, is that we're in pursuit of excellence here. You didn't do what I asked you to do, or vice versa. You know, I like that. I really do. I actually thought Gabriel was immense yesterday.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's what he did.
I think it was a beautiful touch that Zinchenko was captain, and there was a lot of Ukraine flags in. On the 1 year anniversary of the invasion, Zinchenko himself was really, really good. And the last thing I'd say is the away support was just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
We drowned out the entire stadium.
Yeah, it was like a home game.
Arsblog this morning, I had a read of it, and he was saying that whatever channel he was watching on, it was so apparent the noise of the away support. So we didn't actually have to do too much to win that game. And you know yourself, the last 3 or 4 minutes, they could get a waxy goal, but it didn't happen. We were totally on top. We didn't even have to extend ourselves. It was a 7 out of 10 performance, and that's all it had to be against a team who totally feared what we were going to do to them.
Yeah, and Aaron Ramsey didn't have a save to make it on in the game, you know, which was mad. That hasn't happened in a long while, but
well,
yeah.
Maddison wasn't playing. I think if Maddison had been playing, he would at least had 2 shots that would have been on target.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, set piece wise, yeah, sure enough, yeah. Yeah, no, I thought we done really well, and as you said, Eamon, Jorginho's really filled in well for Purdy, who's been out, but you know he's done a job. You know he's done a job for what we got him in for. You know,
before you go on, though, Jonathan, I just want to kind of say, when you're at the game, you actually realise what a player he is.
Yeah.
You know, his constant movement into the spaces and telling people where to go.
Yeah.
he's a general, that guy. He is,
Yeah.
He mightn't have the physicality that needed sometimes, but I tell you what, he knows the game of football. He's very much like Arteta, actually.
He's got that slick hair. Yeah. No, he has.
No, but I mean, Arteta was that type of player. Cajoling people and moving them into space.
People around. Yeah. Yeah, because there was a point in, before I come to Ozzy, there was a point in the first half, I think it was, and he was giving instructions out to Gabriel and Saliba, to get the ball up as quick, like he points things out, and he seems there is a bit of a leader, all right, in him, I mean, yeah. Ozzy, how did you see the match yesterday? Good away win?
Yeah, cracking away win. I don't
know
sorry,
by the way, Ozzy, you were spot on. Your prediction.
Another prediction. Some more money won in the pot. But yeah, no, yeah, I don't know how it felt for Eamon when he was there, but for me, it felt quite a relaxing 1-0. I didn't feel as on edge as I did at the previous game, like, with Villa or any other sort of 1-0 we played like that. So, and the fact, like you've already said, Johnny, but they had 0 shots on target, just sort of summed the game up, really. I thought we controlled the game. I thought in possession we was fantastic. We looked solid throughout the whole pitch. And we said on the last pod, we just wanted to see him switch things up a bit, and I think that's exactly what he did. I think the Trossard played him in a position he did, just added a new dimension to it, and it almost like it brought more players into the game, because he the way he comes and collects the ball, holds it up and brings other players in. It seems to be when Trossard's on the pitch as well, less of a reliance on Saka to do something as well, which I think helps. Because I think at times there's been a few games this season where we just constantly relied on Saka picking up and doing something special, which he's very capable of doing, but he can't do it all the time. So I think just having Trossard in that position, it just like Damon's already said about the inter-switching between Martinelli and Trossard is just fantastic, and I think he just brought something different to the game. And again, we talk about Jorginho as a signing, and you've got to look at Trossard. I think it's been a really successful window. Yeah. Like they're two solid signings, and they've cost us next to nothing really in a transfer window, which was actually balmy, wasn't it, in terms of figures going around. So yeah, I think. Yeah, I just sort of noticed. I felt the defence was just talking through the pitch. Ramsdale did nothing to do. The defence was solid. They done it. They dealt with everything they needed to. Didn't give them a sniff. And then again, I think midfield, like you say, that midfield, it just felt like the battle was won there really. And just with the that controlling midfield, Xhaka, Zinchenko popping in there now and again as well. Fantastic. Yeah, we just controlled the midfield and the only gutting thing for me was a few referees' decisions. Like I say, it didn't affect the game in the end, but they could deny Trossard of a hell of a goal. But I thought Xhaka played better as well. I don't know, Eamon, what you thought being there. He looked like he had a better game because he started to drop off a couple of games. I think he was tiredness more than anything.
Granit Xhaka?
Yeah.
Oh no, he was really good. He was really good.
He came across really good on TV as well. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I just simple 1-0 win. Like I said, like Eamon said, 7 out of 10 performance, but that's how I think our away form's fantastic, and we just need to keep it up now, don't we? And make sure we get. Yeah. Every game's a big game at the moment, but just make sure we don't slip up in the next 2 home games. And it's been a good period for us again, isn't it? We're getting out of that rut.
Yeah. That was our 10th away win this season, and the most has been in the 01-02 season, 14. So we're homing in on that now as well, which is nice to see, winning your away games. Martin, were you in the River Bar for this one yesterday?
I was in the River Bar, and like as ever now, the River Bar was packed to the rafters. It's hard to get a seat now when you come in late. So which is good to see, and the atmosphere was great, and it was one of these games. Like sometimes, we weren't on edge like we were in the Villa game because there wasn't that many goals. Like we didn't have to come from behind. But yeah, it was a good game. And coming back to that amazing goal, when Trossard scored, I just think if the goal would have been scored when that would have happened, that Ben White was holding the goalkeeper, and immediately we would have scored a goal, I would have understood it. But he wasn't fouled. He was just held back. That's basically what happened. And then the keeper was like free, and like then the goal, he would have no chance if he. Well, he was a free keeper, so I don't understand why it was disallowed. But yeah, this VAR thing is going on and on and on, and it's a bit annoying now because I don't know. Like in the stadium, I don't think you can actually see what they're actually looking at, which is even more annoying because at least we've seen it on the screen in the river bar, and we kind of seen, yeah, like okay, it was held, like you
No, we
can
saw
understand it a
nothing.
little
Mark. We
bit.
saw nothing.
Exactly, yeah. It was the same in Brentford, like when Tony scored, like, he's sitting there for 4 minutes with a blank screen. And I think this is the first thing they have to change. They have to put this on the screen so people actually can see what are they actually looking at. So otherwise it just doesn't make sense. So you're just sitting there like and have no idea. I think that's the biggest problem of VAR. But look, as I said, like we won the 1-0, and if we wouldn't and we would have got an excuse, it would have been really terrible again. But like, yeah, Saka's penalty, we didn't see much of it because they didn't even show that on television. I think there was one replay, and we just really didn't know, and till now, like I'm not quite sure what it was, and I don't even know the second one, the offside goal of Martinelli, what Saka scored. They didn't draw lines on the either.
No, Martinelli was offside. He was
Yeah.
offside.
Shoulder was
But
off,
again,
wasn't
like
it? Yeah.
they didn't show that they actually put lines down there. So like again, look, it looked offside, but there was no cohesion in what they're doing. So look, in the end of it, like we won 1-0. I think it was a really clinical game for us. We controlled the thing. Sometimes I just wish that we just don't always try to score the perfect goal. Just try to do something like shoot in some way, because like that's what Trossard did, and we can shoot. We can score from outside. We don't always have to pass the ball into the goal. But we said that, like, yeah, it's a really, really good game. And yeah, Zinchenko, like, my God, where does he play? I think the heat map of him was the whole pitch. He's just everywhere, isn't it, that young fella? And he's just like incredible player. And yeah, no. Let's hope we can replicate that now against Everton. I think we have to get a bit of revenge on them, and then yeah, it's a few games there now. Like we can actually. There's only six away games left. So we have to win 4 of them to beat their record.
Yeah, it's great to get 10 away win on the board this season. Yeah,
Well, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. As we said on the podcast on Monday, it was always going to be a tight game. Ozzy called it again, 1-0, and I think a well-deserved 1-0 away win as well. And you can see Jesus be a welcome addition to come back. We're just lacking a bit of firepower, aren't we? Because we've used Martinelli, Saka, and Nketiah a lot now, and you can see he just needs to freshen it up a bit, maybe. Yeah.
What's good to see though that Nketiah got a bit of a break, because that young fella, like, is he was, since after the World Cup, basically he started every game and nearly played every game. He was never taken off, so I think it's good for him to think, and it was great when he came on. I think he showed a bit of spirit.
He was excellent when he came on, Mark. He was excellent when he came on,
Exactly, yeah. And I think you just need and that's why we got the backups. That's what we think. And again, it just shows like the last 3 transfer windows really kind of proven that, like, whatever we buy, there is some thought behind it. There's no panic buys. There's no thing. Like, just imagine, like, Partey wasn't playing and we would have got that guy from Brighton on. Would he be the same figure, like Jorginho? No, might have been a very, very good player, but he would never be like, I would feel much more uncomfortable with him in the team than Jorginho. And like after the 3-4 games he's played now, you can really see like what we bought is that it absolutely makes sense, and this is exactly where the structure is working, and it was great to see. Yeah,
I have to say a shout out as well from the Liverpool Palace game last night. Sambi Lokonga, he played really well in the centre midfield last night. Vieira I've noticed over the last few games with him, whatever Vieira is doing with him in training, he's looks more confident looking now to getting on the ball, doesn't he?
He just needs to run. He just needs to run.
Yeah, run the games. Yeah.
That's exactly what he's going to do. Yeah.
That's what the loans are for, like, and it's the same with Tavares, like playing for Marseille, like, they're just scoring goals and they're getting more confident. And if you can get them back and then get some result like Saliba, like, that's exactly what we want, and then we're looking way ahead for that. But there's a strong team in the making, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, Martinelli's goal, of course, was the 200 Premier League goal under Arteta. I'd probably give man of the match to Jorginho. I thought he played really well yesterday. Eamon, who was your man of the match from yesterday?
Oh, Jorginho all day. He just controlled the game. And from where I was watching,
Yeah,
not only running into spaces and doing stuff and cajoling people, but every pass, bar one, found the player. You know.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. Yeah, no, Jorginho for me, hands down. You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
More Murdo than Jorginho.
I'm going to give it to Ramsdale.
Yeah.
For the best spectator in the
The way he
stadium.
let that one go wide. You know?
Yeah, that covered. Yeah, that covered.
It takes a lot of skill, that, especially when you're nearly falling asleep.
It was interesting to hear Brendan Rodgers' comments, though. You know, he was saying that we wanted to be really aggressive. We wanted to be on the front foot. And what he said was, they're just at a different technical level than us.
Yeah.
Very interesting comment, you know.
It's refreshing to see that,
especially in the first 15 minutes. My God, them passes, they were just like unbelievable. They stuck to their feet, you know, like, and it was just, and unfortunately, you know, sometimes we just don't make enough out of it. That's the kind of like the only criticism about it. You know, we really dominated that game, and I think in the first 20 minutes, like, you know, like the amount of passes we had, and unfortunately, the goal was disallowed because that would have been the cherry on that kind of like play. But yeah, sometimes you just wish that we would actually get more chances, or like not more chances, but more goals out of that. Because if we would have scored an early goal, we could have won that 3-4-0. You know, well, look, it didn't happen. It's a 1-0. We're happy about it.
Just one quick shout out to Leicester City themselves. At least they didn't dig up the pitch and put holes in it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. At least we're able to play.
Unlike what happened at Goodison, you know, which I still have a problem with, you know.
Yeah. I thought the assist from Trossard to Martinelli, the deft pass, as you know, to him, and the way he finished, it was really, really well worked goal. Yeah. Your man of the match, Ozzy, from yesterday?
I'm going a bit different. I'm going to go with Gabriel at the back. I just thought he was a warrior, and I think he put the calmness into the midfield, and Jorginho was the obvious. You know, in my notes I had Jorginho, Gabriel, but I'm going to go with Gabriel because I'm hedging my bets there. But no, I just thought he was solid. I thought he was a warrior. I thought he was brilliant. I thought it was one of his best performances of the season. In my
was it? Yeah. And the way he was shouting at players as well, as Eamon said, it was particularly to Saliba. Yeah, it's refreshing to see there's a hunger and a passion there. You know, they're really wearing the jersey.
You know, one of the things that tipped him over the edge for me, man of the match, was they got 0 shots on target, and that's a lot of key defense.
That's a lot of
Sorry, breaking up, John.
End of the match, Martin?
Yeah, well, obviously between Jorginho and Gabriel, like they play team, but I actually give it to Trossard because I think like the way he's playing it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Martin, you were giving it to Trossard. Now, how does that work?
Why?
It can't be between two people and you give it to somebody else.
No, like I said, like as you said, like Gabriel and Jorginho,
So
I'm giving it to Trossard. The reason for it is because the goal he scored would have been an absolute belter. And I loved his tweet. I don't know if anybody's seen that. Like, what a game, what a assist. You know, thing. And that's kind of just like they all play like it's actually great now that we're actually struggling to find a man of the match for every game they play, because they all play in such a great fashion, you know, like, and it's good to see that nobody's just standing out. But yeah, like for me, like it could have been any of them, but like I give it to Trossard because just that goal would have deserved to be a goal.
Just saying on the Trossard goal, Martin, where the away fans are at Leicester, as soon as he stepped inside, you could actually see a big gap in the goal because we're directly in line behind it, and the way he hit it, as soon as it left his foot, I'm saying to myself, that's in the onion sack, baby. You know, that's gone. That is gone. Yeah. It was a brilliant strike, you know. Yeah.
It's a good shout, mate. What I say with Trossard, you know, he gives us a plan B though, doesn't he? He does give us a plan B to what we're used to the last couple of weeks. Like
Yeah.
I say, those new dimensions he opens up. And then when you got Gabriel Jesus coming back as well, that's going to be the plan. You know, you got A, B, and C there, because Trossard's been working on that forward role in last couple. You can see it if you look at the Brentford game and stuff like. He's been trying to play in that interchange with Martinelli. I think it's a really good option. I don't think they were ready for that. I don't think they was expecting that. I really don't. But yeah, I think it's good. Getting options now, aren't we?
That was my that was going to be my goal of the month for February.
No. There's a special one coming for the month of February. I tell you that.
I know mine as well. I said it last week.
Yeah, we're gone again.
You hear me okay?
Yeah. No, it's better.
So that win on Saturday leaves us top of course with 57 points, with City directly behind us on 55 after their 4-1 away win against Bournemouth. And which brings us on to this Wednesday's game against Everton again. Everton are 18th now with 21 points. It's 2 wins and 2 defeats for Sean Dyche at the moment. Revenge will be sweet on Wednesday. It's not on the telly, unfortunately. I don't think. Will there be a link for it?
It's been somewhere on the telly in the world, so we hopefully should have it on telly somewhere. It's strange that it's not on the television because it's the only game. So I don't understand why not even Amazon or anything could get that right. But yeah, we're gonna find a link for it hopefully.
I think when it was penciled in September, literally there was no TV. It wasn't down for TV, and they have to stick to that, unfortunately. Sean Dyche's teams are very tough, aren't they? You know, it'd be another tough one like at Goodison Park. I'd probably go for a 2-0 win myself. I think we'll have too much for them at home. I think we'll break them down, but it's going to be, the first goal is going to be a big one, I think, in this game. How do you see it going, Eamon?
Well, if it's not on TV, I might watch it on the wireless. George to Radford to Kennedy. Armstrong.
Sounded like pain.
Big aerial hanging out of my head to try and get that.
Are you listening?
I'm going to ask a question about Everton. Why didn't they kick Aston Villa yesterday the way they kicked us? And that's the question I'd ask Sean Dyche. So Sean Dyche is going to have one plan, and that's to defend as deeply as possible and to try and kick us off the park, right? And my mind goes back to a game, the season Burnley got relegated, and we couldn't score against them. We drew 0-0 at home. Yeah. Last January, I think it was. And that's my worry about it. That they'll just sit in deep, kick us off. I don't see any other game pattern. And if we score against them, we beat them easy. But if we don't score against them, you know. So you'd like to think that we could win the game 2-0. If Aston Villa can go there, and Aston Villa have holes all over the defence as we saw last week, right? If they can go there and win 2-0, well then certainly, you know, look, I hate saying Arsenal will win because I'm a bloody Jonah. But look, I'm going for a 2-0 win like yourself, Jonathan. No.
Yeah, it's the most reasonable story. I think go
You're third.
Like game. And on to do a game gunnery. Martin, how do you see the game going?
Yeah, look, I thought we never should have lost against Everton away, like, you know, so unfortunately we did. They had circumstances, whatever, we couldn't control. Was a tough match, but I think now it's kind of settled, you know, like the managing effect is gone. And if we can play like we did now in the last 2 games and we play at home, I think at home we are really strong. you can't see past a win. But like it's going to be like any other game is going to come up now. It's going to be a tough game. But yeah, if you can score early, I think it could be a 2-0, a 3-0. But look, I take 3 points with a 1-0. So I don't want to think. I just hope we don't concede again, because I think that can be a really, really depending on when we concede, obviously. But for me, if you score early, we have all the chances to win this easily.
Yeah, Ozzy, how do you see the game going? Home win?
You know what, Martin? I've got my notes for the show today. Early goal is crucial. I expect us to go all out. I think it will seeking revenge on these guys. To be honest,
yeah.
There's a few things that come into play in this for me, because I think sure if we get an early goal against them, Sean Dyche will just throw the game. I don't mean as in throw the game, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think he'll tell his lads, because what you got to do is look ahead at their fixtures. Right, they've got Nottingham Forest at home the Sunday after, so that's a winnable game for them. And then they've got Brentford at home after that. And I think they probably look at these fixtures and thinking, you know what, if we go 1-0 down to Arsenal, we'll reserve our energy for the Forest game at the weekend, because that's a big game for them. And then after that, after they've got not Forest and Brentford after that, they're playing Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United. So they need to pick up some points in the next couple of games before they go on that run. So I think Sean Dyche will try and set out to frustrate us. He always does. He always will try. But I think that early goal is crucial. I think if we score early, I think we score in the first half an hour, I reckon 3-0 to Arsenal, and I generally believe that. But the longer the game goes on, the more chance they've got of nicking one from a set piece, which is exactly what they did at Goodison. So they've had a bit of an up and down. They should have been looking at that Villa game, and I can't see, it's a big game for them at the weekend. But I think we just got to look at where they're at. Their next 2 games are winnable. So their next 2 games after Arsenal are winnable. So whether they're looking at that, I don't know. I think I'll say that crucial early goal for us, because I think if they're fighting to get back in it. But yeah, I think they'll try and frustrate us. But I do think we'll get an early goal. And I think I expect us to go all out on these in the first half an hour. I expect us to, we have started other games this season just to throw ourselves at them, and then get that early goal. And I think we'll be all right. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm down there on Wednesday, so if you don't get a channel thrown, I'll just do a FaceTime or something, one of you guys, and stream it from the me. I'll give you updates on WhatsApp. No, obviously, I won't do that, because I'd leave your season ticket probably. But yeah, I'll WhatsApp you updates if you don't get a link, but I'm sure you will. But 3-0 Arsenal. I'm going to go positive on this one, and
stuff.
Yeah. The highlights be on the highlight Sky Sports at 10 o'clock. But no, there'll be some sort of link out there anyway. Yeah.
I'm sure there has to be.
It's a big one though. It's for us, big one in that game, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And just coming to where Marshall is, Wednesday, Bournemouth at home then the Saturday.
Yeah. Another big one. I mean,
Sporting Leicester.
Yeah.
Lisbon is away, isn't it? That first leg.
That's right.
First leg is away, yeah. So my flights are booked. I'm going over for that game. I just haven't got a ticket yet. But I'm sure we try to figure out how to get one.
I'm sure you can sit with the home fans.
Yeah, like I would have been able to get one for 50 euro, sitting in one of the sectors with the home fans. But I'm waiting to see what's happening next week, if we can get that. There's 2,500 tickets going for Arsenal fans, so we'll see. How many of them are traveling to Portugal.
Well, good luck with that, mate. I can get one, mate.
I only found out. I didn't even know Hector Bannon was playing for Lisbon.
Yeah.
So it'd be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he went from Barcelona to Sporting, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
An interesting one, that one, yeah. Then it's Fulham on the 11th. That's a Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. Sporting Lisbon, the 16th, 8 o'clock. And then the last game before the international break, Crystal Palace
Yeah.
2 o'clock at home. I'm not too sure if that's on the telly at the moment. Hopefully Sky get that one as part of the Sunday games. Yeah. So tricky enough games there in March, lads, isn't there? Especially Fulham away would stick out for me. Maybe even Palace at home, because Vieira has them grinding out a lot of draws lately, so that won't be an easy game as well.
Yeah.
Guys, can we just keep it to, like, we need to look at 1 week at a time, you know?
Exactly.
So we play Everton.
See,
we play Everton on Wednesday night. Let's focus on that. And you know, I think that's been the mantra from the team. I don't think we can keep kind of going and then it's that game and that game. You know, I think
keep
the game
grounded. You're saying
Leicester, we kind of reset and let's
level
just
heads.
Yeah, let's just keep level heads. You know.
In terms of the Europa League last 16 draw, lads, we all know we're playing Sporting Lisbon. The fourth leg is March the 9th away, and then of course the home leg is the 16th. How do you see it going, Eamon?
Sure. I thought the Europa League was part of the sister show. That's a double standard.
Yeah, that's why I have to travel to Portugal to get the.
What are we at here? Like,
I'm the gaffer here. Okay.
I'm not contracted. I'm not contracted to talk about Europa League on this show. So
I know you're the gaffer, Jonathan, but don't bite off more than you.
I'll be drafting in Daddy Ozzy for next week's show.
Talk about the 70s. Talk about the 70s.
Oh,
Can you see briefly, lads, just getting through that okay? Sporting Lisbon.
It's not easy, is it? It's not an easy fixture, but they shouldn't be at this stage, should they? So no, it's a tricky tie, isn't it? It depends how serious we are about winning it or where we are in the league, I guess.
It's a tricky tie, Carl, but we're better than them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I can only see it's getting through. Yeah. There is no easy games now. You know, when you reach that side of the competition, you have to respect every opponent, you know, and go out professionally and do your job. Yeah.
They're there for a reason, aren't they?
Yeah. Hector Bellerin probably scored a hat-trick now.
Yeah, well, I put a bet on that. That's not going to happen.
And as Martin says that, I'll be putting €100 on. Martin bags himself a ticket. Player of the month, lads, for February, I'll be going for Gabriel Martinelli myself. Ozzy, your show for player of the month?
I'm going to go for, and it's quite fitting this really, Zinchenko. Yeah. Because I think consistently over the month, he has been one of our better players. And I think, I know Eamon's already touched it. In fact, he was captain at the weekend that just shows for class and all. But I generally think, I'm not just saying this due to the anniversary of the invasion, but Zinchenko has been my player of the month, just for his consistency over the games. In the games we have won and needed a leader, he showed up. So his goal against Villa, I didn't know this was his first Premier League goal ever. I thought he'd score one or two for City, but he didn't. That was his first goal, and it's mad. It's just his consistency this season, though, has been brilliant. I think he stepped up a level even from his City days. You know, I'm seeing, as Martin says, he's all around the pitch now. Yeah. Yeah, the Brentford game, he was fantastic. I thought Man City game, he played really well. And the heart he showed in the Villa game. Just being there for your players as well. I think it's fantastic, consistent month for Zinchenko. So yeah.
Eamon, your player of the month for February?
Vlahovic.
Not Madrid.
No, I'm gonna do something.
Socking up, Arlo.
I'm gonna do something totally unorthodox and different here, and I'm gonna give the player of the month to Benjamin Moore, and I'll tell you why. Went through an awful dip in form. Obviously, there was something seriously wrong, and he's turned his form around. He was outstanding on Saturday, and outstanding in the last game as well. So I'm gonna give it to Ben White because I love the steel that guy has. He has a wall of steel. And I think for him, to be jettisoned from the World Cup squad or to leave the World Cup squad, that wasn't because he fell out with a coach. That was a big, big issue. And for him to be back playing the way he's playing now in the last couple of games, I'm going to say hats off, you know?
Yeah, between holding goalkeepers' hands and the sunbeds, he's come a long way.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. That chant was ringing out constantly at the game. So the fans are now
right.
No, yeah. But what I'm saying is that chant was ringing out constantly through the game. The fans are now mugs. They see what they get with him, you know.
Yeah. And there's a bit of a fighter in him there as well. Yeah.
Sure.
Martin, your player of the month for February?
Player of the month, like for February, I actually give it to Odegaard because the one and reason, like he's just such a great captain. And even like I heard the interview yesterday that Odegaard kind of came up with, talking to the team, to give it to Zinchenko, and that just makes I think that makes what Arsenal is making tick at the moment. Even like, in the Man City game, when Tomiyasu had that goal and he went in and put up his chin, and he's getting in the Brentford game, he's the one who puts the fans up. So for me, he's just like an outstanding player. Like, and he didn't score maybe many goals this month, but he's just like such a leader, which we needed so for such a long time. And yeah, for me, Odegaard is like all the other ones you just mentioned. Like, is exactly the same. Like, and again, it's very tough to choose from, but for me, it's Odegaard.
Yeah, he's had a good month. His creativity as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a lot of things that go unnoticed as well. Yeah. Goal of the month. Start with Ozzy. Your goal of the month for February.
I'm going to Emilio Martinez for his cracking winner against Villa.
Oh, you so frustrating, Ozzy. You stole my thunder, Ozzy.
Oh dear, no, Martinez, yeah, that is cracking header from 6 yards out. So good lad. What's the tie? Sorry, Eamon. Great minds, all
it's,
that, right?
It's an extra shift in the knicker factory for you, Ozzy. You and Daddy Ozzy start making parcel towns. Eamon, your goal of the month, part 2.
Well, I was going to go with that goal because it hit Martinez's head. And by the way, it was an exceptional strike from Jorginho to control the ball the way he did, right? But my plan B, because I figured Ozzy would have me sussed, my plan B was actually the equaliser we got in that game from Bukayo Saka.
I have my plan B.
I'm telling you now, the speed that he hit that ball in real time, it was whoa.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have a wildcat outside. I brought him in to look at the replay. Have a look at this, you. And apart from food, this is the quickest you'll ever see. Like, it was a brilliant strike. Absolutely brilliant strike. It looks easy enough, but the power that he hit that at, it was almost as if he hit it with an anger because he was being kicked all over the park. He just hit that angry. And so, my just for the show, not to all do the same thing, I'm going with Bukayo Saka against Aston Villa,
Yeah, I'd only give my own to Leandro Trossard against Brentford. The way he took it was really, really well taken goal. Martin, your goal of the month for February.
Yeah, like the same as the rest of you guys. Like, Martinez, like, hit the eye on the ball and everything was just brilliant. And it took 10 years to to score for Arsenal. But yeah,
can we have a still as that? The still of him heading it as our show picture?
Yeah, I think I have to find that and put it on because it's just like the sheer dominant. Like, it looks like a flying header, doesn't it? Like like Van Persie in the World Cup, Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the better goals. But yeah, like on the other side, like Saka's goal, the equalizer. But even then, Zinchenko's goal, I think that was just like a cracker, like and such an important goal. And unfortunately, we didn't have that many goals in February to actually, choose from. So yeah, like for me, Martinez, but like then in the end, I give it to Zinchenko.
Yeah,
but you're right, though, Martin. Like in terms of sorry, Jonathan. In terms of importance, this Zinchenko strike changed everything in that game.
Everything, yeah.
On the hour mark as
100%.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the next goal was the big one, wasn't it? And we got that goal, yeah. I thought
Exactly.
as well, yesterday's goal, the importance of it, Martinelli's winner, that could really prove vital come the end of the season as well.
The goalkeeper went down like you, Jonathan.
Like a true pro.
He went down like, as Johnny Giles would say, the other Johnny Giles, he went down like a roll of lino.
I hope you're not referring to our five-a-side days at the Emirates store, are you?
Yeah, he went down like a roll of lino. Yeah. He went down like a credit union loan. Yeah.
Unpaid and never looked back.
That's very true.
As always, I feel on cloud nine with Eamon's motivational comments.
I think the best save you made all day was a back pass from me.
Excuse me, I kept us in it up to least the last minute. Yeah, I safely put up my gloves after that. Yeah, so that's fair and goal of the month. Thanks, Ken Burlow. Just moving on to the sad passing of BBC legend JOHN MOTSON, who passed away on Thursday at the age of 77. Eamon, your thoughts on old Motty?
Well, look, during lockdown, when we had nothing else to do, I start going back to my youth, looking at 1970s football on YouTube. And John, at that time, would have been only a young commentator, you know? And he didn't say too much. That was the thing. He never had kind of comments to make about players or anything like that. It was all about the game. It was everything he said was about the game. And like, to me, the greatest commentator of all time was Kenneth Wilson, you know. Yeah. Radford to George, he's done it. You know, we can all see the bloody game. We don't need commentators giving their viewpoint on, you know, life in general. But Motty was like that. I think he learned from Kenneth Wilson. He said that himself. You know, that he was minimalist, and he was. It's just such a sad part of my life that, you know, 50 odd years of watching football, that voice is gone. You know, and I don't know. Hats off. It was just everything about 70s, 80s, 90s football was JOHN MOTSON, you know?
I think the piece of commentary I remember, Eamon, was the 2002 World Cup when Robbie Keane scored the equaliser against Germany. And one of them was just look at these scenes, you know, just look at, you know, just brilliant, yeah. I know at the start of last week, Dickie Davies passed away as well. Another icon. Eamon, your thoughts on Motty?
I've just given you them.
No, sorry, Ozzy, your thoughts on Get rid of that sheepskin hat, Ozzy.
Look, he's actually a legend. Like, you know, I grew up listening to Motty and Eamon. There you go. Who are we talking about? Right, Motty. Right, no, he's absolute legend. I grew up, you know, I think he done all the FIFA games as well, didn't he? So I was a bit of a gamer as well. So, you know, for some of my best moments for me, it's going to hate us on this show, but England matches, you know, I remember like the 5-1 Germany win and stuff like that, you know, it makes a Three Lions song and backdrop.
Proper, yeah.
And, you know, just grew up listening to him, you know, and it won't be the same without him, you know. It's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to watching that documentary that you suggested as well. I didn't know that was on, so that's going to be fantastic. Because what I liked about him as well, like, obviously there's plenty of times where I've called him into the studio and he's given some really insightful stuff as well, like, you know, not just his commentary, but I've seen some great Great, like when he's been pulled into the studio. I think he's great. He's just fantastic. He's just a legend. He warrants that word, doesn't he? So yeah,
game, yeah.
Yeah. So no, very sad moment for football.
The first game he commentated on was against Crystal Palace, and his last game was Crystal Palace as well.
Wasn't
and they had a spot for him yesterday with his mic on it. JOHN MOTSON, and then I thought it was a nice touch from Crystal Palace yesterday. His knowledge in football.
I can try and sum it up in one line if I may. Because he was such a part of my youth. Football on television without JOHN MOTSON is like a fillet steak without red wine.
Yeah, 100%.
Well said. Yeah, well said. Yeah.
Nice Merlot.
More Merlot than Motson.
Put a sock in it, Merlot.
Martin, your thoughts on Motty? Would you have known him growing up? Probably.
As I said, probably vaguely, but again, I'm only in this country since '97, so I would have heard him on television, but I wouldn't be grown up like the two other guys did. But it's sad because there's so many of them, really iconic voices are dying now. For me, in Formula One, Murray Walker, he died last year. So, all the old good ones, they're really, they're gone now, But yeah, obviously, I would know him from FIFA and all the commentary, and sometimes you don't really realize, who it is, or I wouldn't have realized because I wouldn't have grown up with them. But yeah, obviously now when you hear back, say, yeah, you obviously heard that, they're just iconic voices on the television, and it's just, it's it's sad, that these things are going, and but yeah. And I mean,
he used to do a bit of commentary on the side in Austria.
Did he? Yeah, no, the skiing though, did he?
He went as an undercover. JOHN MOTSON.
We have our legendary commentators in Austria. I can tell you something there about Eddie Finger, in 1978, Crankle scored. That goes down in my thing. I would have known him, but no, that it's just. And as you rightly said, years ago when you were listening on the radio, or we didn't have that kind of luxury what we have now, that we can watch every single game. It's just something different, and that's just it's a lost art, really,
Yeah.
And they're getting less and less and less,
Bobby Robson would have been 90 as well this week, so he was another legend again as well, wasn't he? Sad, all these generations are in the past, that's our tribute. JOHN MOTSON, 1945 to 2023. Our thoughts with his family and all. Another legend, sadly gone, but not forgotten. JOHN MOTSON, the man behind the sheepskin, BBC One, 11:10 tonight, straight after Match of the Day. 2. If Match of the Day is listening, if you could like and subscribe and put a donation just for that.
Yeah, there's a little thanks button under the video. Just click on that. Go.
Before we go, because if we don't go soon, we'll miss the bloody JOHN MOTSON documentary. I'm looking forward to the Match of the Day too, to see how well Mudryk did today.
Yeah, 009 now.
I have to say, I was going to say that Mudryk and Felix, I'm glad we didn't go for them. That's my opinion. I'm just really glad.
Let me just dig out that WhatsApp message what you sent to me about when we didn't sign him.
Did you see that,
Martin? Don't never out the host live. You know what
I mean? This is Martin's last show. Beyond the last man. Oh, yeah, Martin.
Beyond the P45.
Beyond the last show.
Jonathan, if I were you, I'd give Martin a P45 for that comment.
No, I take all criticism on my shoulders. This is the stresses of being a host on such a great show. And may I add, in a couple of weeks' time, our show is heading to our second anniversary, 2 years on the go. So we're onwards and onwards. I know Martin will be having a show on Thursday for the Women's Super League, so I'm looking forward to that as well, Martin.
Yeah.
And we'll also have one for the Everton review and Bournemouth preview. Is there anything else football related, lads, you'd like to mention?
I just want to say to Martin on the show, don't forget now to reclaim the Europa League. It's your turf, son. You know, it's your turf.
That's what I said. That's why I have to go to Portugal. You need to live comment.
I know he's doing live commentary in a sheepskin coat.
He has to go all the way to Portugal just to reclaim the Europa League from this.
At this rate, what's the amount of P45s I'll be handing out? I'll be doing these solo with Daddy Ozzy. Reminiscing about the 70s. Daddy Ozzy, are you listening? Yeah, before we go, let's give joesarsel.com a check out as well. Really good content daily. Pat McLaughlin, shout out to you. Thanks for tweeting us and getting us the amount of views, because without views, it wouldn't really be anywhere near the amount of views that we've got. So thanks very much. Thanks to Martin, Ozzy, and Eamon for your contributions tonight. We'll be back Thursday. So until then, talk to you and have a good few days. Thanks, lads.
Right.
Come on, you guys.
See you later, lads. Right. Bye.
Thank you. I'll write up down P45s now.